Hi, this is Priya. I understand and consent to be recorded, and this is for the assessment purposes only.
Thank you. Hi, Priya. Thank you for meeting me today. My name is Miten, and I am a mortgage broker with Orange Albert. I really appreciate your time to come in. Buying your first home is a big step, especially when you are running a business. It is one of the biggest investments anyone will do, unless you have a bigger business or loan against a business. Now, before we get into the details, I want to check how you prefer your information to be shared. Some clients like very clear structure and written summaries after meetings so they don't feel overwhelmed. Would that be helpful for you?
Yes, definitely. I process things better when they are written down. I sometimes need time to think before making decisions.
That's good, and thank you for letting me know. I will explain everything step by step. Pause often, and I'll send you a written summary after today so you don't need to remember anything, as everything will be in the email for your information.
That already makes me feel a bit calmer.
That's good to know. Let's move to the next step, which is the confidentiality and privacy explanation. Before we discuss your finances, I want to explain confidentiality. Everything you share with me is protected under the Privacy Act and Orange Albert privacy policy. Your personal, business, any information is only used to assess your loan and nothing else. It is never shared with a lender, credit reporting body, or anyone else unless you give written consent, which is extremely important for any loan.
So my business income details won't be just passed around, right?
Yes, that's correct. Any sharing is consent based, documented, and limited strictly to your loan application. We also use secure systems for document storage and submission as well, so that you don't need to worry about your details which are being shared based on written consent.
That's good. I'm very protective of my business data.
And you should be, to be honest. If you're running a business, it's extremely important. And this is what we definitely understand, and it is your right as well. Now we move on to your goals. Let's talk about what you're hoping to achieve. What made you decide now is the time to look buying or buy a house?
I've been renting for so long, 10 years. I want stability, but my business income hasn't been consistent recently, and that makes me nervous.
Absolutely, I do understand that. As I mentioned, it's a big investment which you would be going forward. Oh, sorry, if your loan gets approved. Stability is very common goal, especially after running a business through uncertainty. When you say stability, what does that look like for you?
Predictable repayments, knowing I'm not overstretching myself, and honestly, I want to know if this is even realistic or if I'm just settling in, uh, or I'm setting myself up for disappointment. If you can clarify these aspects, it would be really helpful.
Absolutely. I really appreciate the honesty. My role is to be upfront and honest as well, whether the loan is achievable now or what steps would be taken to make it achievable if it isn't yet ready.
So you will tell me if it's not possible as well.
Yes. And if that happens, I'll also explain why and what practical steps you can take next along the process. So we move on to collecting financial information, which is one of the most important steps in any loans, whether it's home loan or any other loan which you might be looking to buy. I'm going to ask you some questions about income, assets, debts, expenses, etc. There are no right or wrong answers. Accuracy is what matters. We'll start basically with income and business. You mentioned you've been self employed, so you're running your own business for about 5 years. Is that true?
Yes, I run an online fashion retail business.
Thank you. And your income fluctuates in the business. Is that
A
true
lot.
as well?
Yes, a lot. Some months I make over 12,000. Other months it's closer to $3,500.
Okay, that's good to know and definitely helpful. Lenders expect variability with self employment. That's a common thing. They look more at long term sustainability than individual months.
How can I be sustainable in my fluctuations?
So in your it depends on what basically once we go through the details of your assets, liabilities, then it's calculated based on those details by the lender, and the review is done by the teams, and based on the checks, etc., they decide on the outcome. We move on to the assets. You have saved around $90,000, correct?
Yes, and I don't know if that's enough.
But it's definitely a solid starting point. We look at how it fits with purchase costs and lender requirements. You also mentioned business equipment, a car, and superannuation.
Yes, but I know super isn't accessible.
That's right. We need to meet the criteria. It's a government rule. It's not used for the loan though, but it does show financial planning, which lenders like to see, and hence it is helpful. We move on to the liabilities because we've gone through your assets. You currently have a business loan and credit cards. Is that correct?
Yes, the business loan worries me a bit.
It's understandable. We factor repayments into affordability. They don't automatically mean a decline. We have done assets, liabilities, move on to the credit history. You also mentioned some late payments on business expenses. Is that true?
Yes, I didn't realize that mattered so much. I thought it was only personal bills.
I understand, but it's a very common misunderstanding. Late payments don't mean an automatic no, but they do affect how lenders assess the risk because they need to check all the details before taking any decision.
So, have I already ruined my chances?
Absolutely not. It means we need to explain context and show stability moving forward, and hence all of your details which we've gone through, like your income, your assets, your liabilities, all those matter, and all of those are taken into consideration before any lender takes a decision on the approval. The next step is self-employed assessment and documents. For any loan, as you know, there is a lot of things which are required by the lender or home loan providers. Without assessing all those details, it's not possible for any lender to provide any loan for any client. And this is not only for home loans, for any other loans as well. And especially self-employed, as you know, you have a variable income, so it matters a bit more than the normal PAYG income, which is for certain clients who are working for a company and they have steady income throughout the year. Now, for self-employed lenders usually ask for 2 years of tax returns and notice of assessment. As you know, notice of assessment is when you file your tax, you receive it from the ATO. and that's an extremely important document for self-employed clients, basically people who are running a business. Second is your business financial statements, which show the profit and loss throughout the year. Next is personal and business bank statements, because they are added to your liabilities, or it can be asset. It depends what's incoming, what's outgoing. So that does matter, and it's extremely important as well while they're assessing any client for a loan. And the next is details of debts and repayment history as well. As we mentioned in the credit check as well, they need to check what debts or late payments, etc. As I mentioned before, it's not a no, but it is to assess the risk, because when they are trying to approve a loan for any client, it's a big amount. They need to cover their side of things so that they are covered for the risk in case of non-repayments or delays or whatever the case might be. And hence all of these documents are required while assessing the loan.
That sounds like a lot.
It is, and I do understand where you're coming from, but I'll give you a checklist and guide you through it one step at a time. It's not a rush, it's not a process where we can rush and get things done very quick. It is a bit of a slow process where things go step by step, process by process, check by check, and review by review. So it is a bit of a longer process, but we have to be patient because we are investing in buying a house, which is one of the biggest things in our life, as I mentioned before. And of course, you would be excited as well to buy your own home rather than renting in someone else's apartment or house for years and years. It feels like, we have something of our own, and that's an asset for your retirement, probably, or for your kids, family, or whatever it might be. And it will help you in the future as well if the property gets appreciated. All of these things help overall, and hence the process has to be very clear, and we need to follow it correctly with all the right checks and balances and approvals, so that we do not have any unforeseen circumstances or issues.
Okay, I need things broken down.
All right, absolutely. That's exactly how we will do it. We will break down the steps, the process, the actions to be taken by us, the actions to be taken by yourselves, the documents, the timelines. Everything is an end to end process and involves time and efforts from all the parties involved. But in summary, I'll still give you a short loan process which is required in simple steps, so that you're aware of what exactly is required and how it's going to work. So here's the process in simple steps. As I mentioned, I'll be sending you an email as well with all of these steps and the process, so that you're not overwhelmed, or you can take your own time to read it, understand, and then go one by one. First is we gather and verify the documents. So you'll have to collect the documents which will ask you to provide in the document checklist, because that's the first step for any loan process. The next is to assess your loan suitability, which we have gone through before as well. And that's exactly the process after documents. It's the loan suitability assessment. The next is we submit your application. After we submit the application, the lender reviews that. The lender review is an extremely important step, because all of the above do matter when they are reviewing it, and they do go into the details of exactly how, what, etc., in terms of assets, liabilities, risk, etc., before taking the next step or the next decision. And the final is the approval of feedback, whether it's a yes, whether it's a no, whatever the outcome might be, the lender will let us know and will let you know, and based on that you can decide the next steps or the way forward for a home loan.
And if I'm declined,
As I mentioned, then we have to look at what needs improvement: income inconsistency, debt reduction, no credit cards or reduced credit card timing,
mm,
and I'll give you a realistic plan. So we have to basically check why it was rejected or it was declined, what were the reasons, and where we can build on it so that we can reduce the debt and increase and reduce the liability as well, and increase our chances of getting a home loan approved, which will give you, of course, your first own home as well.
that makes me feel less scared.
That's good. And hence, I mentioned we'll go step by step, slow and steady, but making sure that we follow every step, provide all details, you're aware of what's going on, how it's going on, timelines, etc. It's not an easy process, to be honest, but it's not very complex as well. We just have to go we have to go step by step, one by one. And that's how we achieve our goal. And that's how we achieve the end result of getting a loan for your first home, which I'm pretty sure you might be excited even at this stage.
Thank you. This was a lot, but it was explained clearly.
Okay. So after today, basically, what I'll be doing is I'll be sending you a written summary via email, a document checklist, because that's the first step, as I mentioned, documents which we submit and they check, clearly stating the next steps as well. You don't need to decide anything today. You can take your own time, read, read again, check, review, ask questions, even if it's at every step. No question is a wrong question. If you're not clear, please call out. Because if you don't understand, if you're not clear, and we keep on moving to the next steps, it probably will not help us and it will not help you as well. So it's better to make things very clear and precise before moving to the next step so that we don't have any issues and we get the correct approval for the loan as well. Is there any other question that you would like to ask at this stage? Anything which you might be thinking right now from what we have gone through in the current meeting? Anything is okay and fine. I'm more than happy to help and clear it and help you with a reply or update or follow up or action, whatever is required where possible.
I really appreciate your commitment, and I'll definitely come back with any questions along the way.
So, no questions at this moment in time.
Yes, all clear.
That's very good. You are very welcome as well. And we'll take this one step at a time. As I mentioned before a few times, one step at a time, slow and steady wins the race. And that's how we'll achieve the goal of owning a first home, which I would definitely be excited, as you might be, because it's the biggest investment for any individual or family in their life, unless they are investing in a bigger business. So it is definitely exciting times ahead, a bit of nervous time as well, possibly, but we'll go one by one, result by result. And that's how we'll try to achieve our goal of getting the home loan and owning your first own house as well.
Thank you.
Welcome and thank you for joining me today again. As I mentioned, I'll send you an email pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll look forward for it.
Absolutely. See ya.